Welcome back to another Power Rankings video. I am your host and League Commissioner Trent. Let's get right into it. Starting things off with your Week 9 bums. At number 3, we have Derrick Henry. Finishes with 6.8 points, only 68 rushing yards. Bears defense is pretty tough, and they had a game plan to shut Derrick Henry down, and that's what they did. Fortunately for James, though, he did still get the dub. In at the number 2 spot, we have James Conner finishing with 4 points. Going against that Cowboys defense, he should have had more. I didn't see anything about him being injured, so I don't know why he wasn't on the field as much. Very strange to see, but definitely did not help Brendan out this week. And at the number 1 spot, we have Tom Brady with 2.36 fantasy points. Welcome back to the bums list, Tom. We missed you. Brian was still able to get the win, though, thanks to Devontae Adams and Alvin Kamara. But you got to get more help from Tom, man. He's up and down. I mean, he had a little consistent streak there for a while, but then he met the Saints again, and they swept him. And now it is time for your Week 9 studs. Coming in at number 3, we have Dalvin Cook. Big Week 9 for him as he rushed for 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had 2 receptions for 46 yards. Didn't help Daniel get the win, thanks to Christian McCaffrey pretty much evening out his score. But Dalvin Cook still did make the list just because that was just a stud performance by him. To carry his team like that. So, I mean, we're probably going to see him again on this list. Dude is a monster. And speaking of that game, we have Christian McCaffrey at the number 2 spot. Christian McCaffrey, 69 rushing yards with 1 touchdown, going along with 10 receptions, 82 yards, and 1 touchdown reception. Christian McCaffrey came back and helped me. Too bad he's injured again, though. But I did need his points. 37.1 fantasy points. Pretty much evened out Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's 39.2. So, yeah, he came back, got me the win, and got injured again. So, be without him this week, but I'll get over it. Coming in at the number 1 spot on your Week 9 studs is Kyler Murray. 37.92 fantasy points, 283 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, and then he also had 106 rushing yards to go along with a rushing touchdown. Did lose a fumble, though. But yeah, absolutely great season by Kyler Murray, carrying Greg so far, just like Lamar Jackson carried me this last season. Kyler Murray's actually putting up better numbers at this point in the season than Lamar was. And it's interesting to see if he can continue to put up this type of production and help Greg even further. Now it is time to look at some playoff scenarios. We just have one for y'all this week. And it looks like Andrew is officially eliminated with a loss and a Levi win. Just because if Levi wins and Andrew loses, Andrew needs to at least make up 3 games. And Levi's playing Noah, so they both can't lose. He would like both of them to lose, but I just don't. Can't happen this week. So if Levi wins, that'll put him about 3 games above Andrew, with about 200-point differential. And it's just you can't do that. You can't make up 200 points in 3 games on one dude. His best bet is for Noah to beat Levi and just keep on winning from there. But first things first, Andrew has to win this week. But he is eliminated with a loss and a Levi win. It's time for your Week 10 power rankings. Let's get right into it. At number 10, we have Andrew. Oh, man, tough way to lose. Andrew had 2 players going into Sunday night, Breeze and Cook, and they both fumbled, and Andrew ended up losing by 2. Just a heartbreaking loss. It's a horrible way to lose, and pretty much sums up Andrew's season, if you ask me. Going into Week 10, though, It's a must-win game for him. This is it right here. 4 games left, down by 2 games for that sixth spot. So, and plenty of teams ahead of him also trying to get in. It's going to be tough. His roster has been looking better week after week. He just can't put the pieces all together. But we'll see if he can bounce back this week and save his season officially. Needs a big win right here. This can change everything for him this season, and we'll see. We'll see. In at the number 9 spot, we have Dakota. Dakota is hanging on by a thread right here, and 3-6. One big game back, especially with Levi and Noah both losing last week, increases his playoff chances. And with Russell Wilson as his quarterback, he can surely make a push. Thing is, he has no running backs still, and it's going to be interesting to see if he makes any moves before the trade deadline. We'll see, though. We finally got some production out of his wide receivers last week. Little breath of fresh air for Dakota. But he was stressing out until that Sunday night game was over and he was able to pull off the win. And 1 game back now with 4 games left. So we'll see if Dakota can make a strong push for that final playoff spot. Coming in at number 8, we have Levi. And with the loss last week and just players on bye this week, 2 big players. I know Zeke hasn't been that big this season, but it's still Zeke, so you have to account for that. And Julio on bye for Levi. He has to settle for T.Y. Hilton. And I don't know. Things aren't looking good for him right now. I mean, I could see him sneaking into the playoffs, but it ain't going to be easy for him. This roster has just been depleted. If he makes the playoffs, I mean, George Kittle should be back for him, but I don't know. I don't see it happening. I think this is a team that's outside the bubble right now and ends up losing either the second to last or last week of the season and not getting in due to just so many injuries and other teams playing really well. So we'll see. We'll see if Levi can get back on track and get back to 500 this week. At the number 7 spot, we have Daniel. Team is looking really good right now, and Mixon should be back soon. If not this week, then he will be back next week. I'm pretty sure of it, about 90% sure. But we'll see. I mean, if there's a team that can sneak into the playoffs, it's this one. The wide receiver, it's just a balanced roster all around, If this team can stay healthy, too, I mean, Chris Godwin has been battling injuries all season long. Alvin Cook right now is just carrying this team. He should get Mixon back, though. And if I'm him, I probably wouldn't want Mixon back this week since they play Pittsburgh. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, very overall balanced, very balanced team all around. So we'll see if Daniel can sneak back into the playoffs. Coming in at the number 6 spot, we have Noah. Noah was not able to get the win last week, putting up 63 points. I believe that is the lowest point total a team has put up this season. I have not checked that, though. But I'm pretty confident that that's the lowest amount that someone has scored. But good news for him this week, he should be getting Miles Sanders back, which is a big boost for his running back department. And David Johnson's probably not going to play. He's not looking too good right now, going through the concussion protocol. So we'll have to see. Hopkins had a down week last week. Nobody's perfect. No one's going to keep putting up 25 points unless you're Devontae Adams. Crazy dude, man. But Diggs has been absolutely tearing it up for Noah this season. What a trade by them to acquire Diggs. He's been looking real good. And we'll see if Mark Andrews can get going to help Noah on this playoff push. He's been kind of a bummer these last couple of weeks. And what Noah really needs to do is figure out this quarterback situation. Matt Stafford is just too inconsistent right now, man. So we'll see if he goes in a different direction in terms of that. But Noah should be looking at a playoff spot. I mean, it's a solid roster, but we'll just have to wait and see because fantasy is random a lot of times, and you never know what's going to happen. So we'll see if he can hang on. At the number 5 spot, we have Brendan. Brendan was unable to get the win last week after Devontae Adams claimed another victim. Good news for Brendan. Nick Chubb should be back this week. I think he just had a full practice on Thursday, so we'll see. This wide receiver core needs to be more consistent though, because right now, I mean, you look at how Dakota's wide receivers have been playing, and then you look at Brendan's, and they're pretty similar. Dakota's wide receivers had a pretty good week last week though, and Brendan's didn't. Um, just the inconsistency at wide receiver has been killing both of their teams. But even more for Brendan, the inconsistency at running back. If you want to be successful in fantasy, your running backs have to be consistent, and they just haven't been. But like I said when I started this off, Nick Chubb should be back this week, which should give Brendan a big boost in the run game. And Deshaun Watson should still keep slinging it out. Ever since Bill O'Brien got fired, he's been doing pretty good. So we'll see if Brendan can bounce back. He's lost a couple games in a row now. And so, I mean, after starting, 5-1, he's 5-4 now. So we'll see if he can get back on track as well. And at the number 4 spot, we have Greg. And Greg is just absolutely getting carried by Murray and Metcalf. And with Michael Thomas coming back, this team's wide receiver core is looking pretty good. And you add in Nick Chubb coming back for Brendan, should give Greg a boost with Kareem Hunt as well. I think Kareem Hunt will play better with Nick Chubb there than just being the solo back himself. It's kind of like a 1-2 punch thing. They feed off of each other, and Hunt just hasn't been what he has been when Nick Chubb was there. He's still putting up over like a solid 15 points per game. So, I mean, the production's there. I mean, the volume's there. Kenyon Drake was at practice this week, so he might get Kenyon Drake back to run up the middle every single run play so the defense can stop it. I don't know why they do that. Every time a Cardinals running back touches the ball, or I should say runs the ball, it's always up the middle. And I don't know what Cliff Kingsbury is doing to his running backs, but if he figures out how to use running backs, Kenyon Drake should get a huge boost because he's not a bad player at all. Greg's bench does need a little bit of work though. If he wants to keep on winning, you never know when injuries are going to happen, and it's nice to have some solid backups, and I don't really see that with him. He might be missing TJ Hawkinson again this week, who has been a stud so far, third-ranked tight end. But no, Kyler Murray is just going to keep doing his thing, and I think Greg should clinch a playoff spot here sooner or later. And at the number 3 spot on your rankings, we have Brian. And Devontae Adams is turning out to be everybody's dad. And we thought it was Kamara when the season started, when Adams was hurt. But no, Adams came back and started making everyone his child. So he should still... I mean, he has Dakota again this week, so we'll have to see. Last time Brian played Dakota, Devontae Adams dropped 40 in week 1. We'll see if he rolls with Brady again, because honestly, after last week, I'd be kind of worried about Brady. That offense did not look good, and it also looks like he's sticking with J.D. McKissick, which is not a bad play at all, especially in PPR. He's doing pretty good so far these last couple of weeks. I mean, 3 out of the last 4 games, he's put up 10 or more, and that's solid production in PPR for a running back. We'll see if he decides to trust Jonathan Taylor, though. It's a Thursday game, so he's going to have to think ahead and think fast. If not, then he will be rolling with McKissick, which isn't a bad play, like I just said. Brian's team is looking really good heading into these last 4 weeks, and he should finish off strong and claim a good playoff spot. This team's going to be tough in playoffs, though, so we'll have to wait and see what happens and if he can get the job done. And at the number 2 spot, we have me. I was able to get the win out there last week, and thanks to Christian McCaffrey. He really did help me. He balanced out Daniel's Dalvin Cook, and then Justin Herbert has just been a solid quarterback. Tyreek Hill, who is on bye this week, did drop 33 for me. That helped as well. I'm missing a lot of players on bye this week. I got Calvin Ridley and Tyreek Hill both on bye. I think I'm missing one. Oh yeah, Young Hoku, my kicker, the number one kicker in fantasy. So, I mean, it's gonna be a good matchup between me and James. Top two teams in the league. So we'll see how I do. Like I said last week, I'm confident in my team, and we should be able to get the job done this week. Coming in at the number one spot once again, we have James. James didn't really have that solid of a. I mean, over 120 points in PPR or fantasy in general is pretty good. So he had a solid week, but did not get. Le'Veon Bell is just. They may have been waiting for the bye week to get him more used to the playbook, and they'll probably start using him more once this bye week is over with for the Chiefs. Derrick Henry should be looking to bounce back, though, against a tough Colts defense. We'll see. For my sake, hopefully they contain him, but I think they're going to try and come out and prove that Derrick Henry is nothing to be messed with. And Keenan Allen, man. What an acquisition by James early in the season to trade for Keenan Allen, because he has been nothing short of awesome this season for James. And then Travis Kelce, I mean, number one tight end every single season. You know what you're getting out of him. Paired with Patrick Mahomes. All those guys are on bye this week, though. Mahomes, Bell, and Travis Kelce, James has on bye. So we'll have to see if his bench can get the job done. I mean, his backup quarterback, Josh Allen, who early in the season we were, debating whether or not he should get MVP. Then he kind of fell off, and now he's back to tearing it up. So we'll see if these guys can get James to win when his key players are on bye. And speaking of those top two teams, this is your game of the week. Number 2, Trent versus number 1, James. It should be a good one, although in week 1 it was not a good one for James, as I ended up beating him by 70 points. Even if I beat him this week, though, it is looking like he still is going to be in first due to the fact that he's pretty much got an 80-point lead in the points for category. Even though I'm second in points for, he's still 80 points is a lot, and if you win your fantasy matchup by 80 points, then good for you. But I don't see it happening against James this time around. Some key matchups we're looking for: Justin Herbert versus Josh Allen, Aaron Jones versus Derrick Henry, and Antonio Brown versus Keenan Allen. Main matchup to watch for, though, Aaron Jones versus Derrick Henry. I think that's going to be a good battle on who could put up more points in the running back department. But it should be a good one between me and James, and honestly, James can have that number 1 seed. I mean, number 1 seed is yet to win the championship, so if he beats me, I'm fine with it. And we'll see. It should be a good one, though. Just before I head out, I just want to let you guys know that the trade deadline is this next Friday, not tomorrow, but the 20th. November 20th is the trade deadline. So please make sure, if you want to make any moves, don't hesitate. Just send an offer. You might get a counter offer back, or they might just accept it. So never be scared to send an offer out there if it's something you're confident with. Always hit them up, though, if you're not sure, because last thing you want is to send an offer out and then them sending you, their kicker for a whole bunch of your studs, and that's just clowning around. So don't be afraid to send an offer out, and if they counter, then hey, it's a playoff push time, guys, and don't be afraid to make moves, man. Just put something out there. You never know what you're gonna get. And so yeah, trade deadline November 20th. Guys, that's it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, keep grinding. I just wanted you to watch me dissolve.